Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hi everyone, this is Mallika Pathak from Miranda House, University of Delhi. Continuing with the course on ionic equilibria for the students of BSc Honours Chemistry and BSc with Chemistry. This is Module 6, Lecture 2 of the series. The academic expert of the course is Dr. Amrita T. Sheikh, and the recording is being done under the DTH Swayam Prabha project of the MHRD, New Delhi. Now in today's lecture, we are going to take a look at what is a mathematical treatment, or which is otherwise called as an exact treatment, how it could be applied to determine the concentration of H plus ions for a monoprotic acid. We will do two cases for a weak acid as well as for a strong acid. We will then apply this to polyprotic acids. This will be followed by solving some numericals. Now, these numericals are going to be interspersed in the presentation. So, some will be done after the monoprotic acid and some will be done after the polyprotic acid. So, let's start with today's lecture. Let us now start with the mathematical treatment and the exact treatment to calculate the concentration of the species in the solution. Now, why is it called exact treatment? Because our aim is to calculate the exact concentration. Why is it a mathematical treatment? Because we are applying the mathematical equations to find out the values of the unknown concentrations. Now, in order to compute the concentration of various species which are present in solution, we must have equations at least equal to the number of the unknowns. So, the equation should be at least equal to the number of unknowns that are there in the solution. Now these equations, they'll be based on the equilibrium expressions in the solution. So whatever equilibria are existing in that solution, you will write equations based on that. You will write equations based on the conservation of charge and on the conservation of mass. Now, if you try and solve these mathematical equations, it's a very complicated process. And if you want to get the exact concentration or the exact values of these unknowns, you will have to use a computer to do that. But you can apply certain approximations which will not affect the results too much, but will give you a data or a result which is very much close to the exact value you would have calculated using a computer. So let's start. Now, when you are going to do the mathematical treatment, you are going to have certain expressions. So let us recall what these expressions are. We are going to talk about the equilibrium constant expression. We are going to use the mass balance expressions. We are going to use charge balance expression. We are going to use the proton condition expressions. We are based on these expressions, we are going to get the exact expressions which will be dealt algebraically to get the exact concentrations of the species in the solution. So let's start with the exact treatment for the ionization of a monoprotic acid. Now here the monoprotic acid that we've taken is Ha. Any acid which is Ha in the aqueous solution will ionize as H3O plus and A minus. Again, let us recall here Ha is behaving like a Bronsted-Lowry acid because it is donating a proton to water, which is acting as a base, which is accepting a proton from Ha, and they are resulting in the formation of H3O plus and A minus. So Ha plus water gives you H3O plus and A minus. Now, based on this equilibria, you will write down the expression for Ka. So, Ka is equal to H3O plus into A minus upon Ha into water. We have already done this in the previous presentation also. This is what product of or the multiple of the concentration of the products upon the multiple of the concentration of the reactants. So, this is the expression for Ka. Now, because you're talking about the aqueous system, you will also talk about the auto-ionization of water. So H2O plus H2O will give you H3O plus and OH minus. Again, I did explain to you this part that some of the water molecules will behave as an acid and will donate H plus ions to the equal number of water molecules which will behave as base, resulting in the formation of H3O plus and OH minus. Now, when you have this auto-ionization, you can write down the ionic product of water. So, the ionic product of water, Kw, can be written as H3O plus into OH minus. So, now we have got two expressions, one for Ka and one for Kw. You can also write down the expression for mass balance. So, what is the mass balance? That the initial or the total concentration of the acid is equal to the concentration of the undissociated form of the acid plus the dissociated form of the acid. I'm repeating, what is it? That the concentration of the acid which was initially present, or the total concentration of the acid, is equal to the concentration of the undissociated form of the acid plus the dissociated form of the acid. So we have three equations, Ka, Kw and mass balance. We are still left with the charge balance expression. Let's see. So what is the charge balance equation? That sum of the positive charges is equal to the sum of the negative charges, because the solution is electrically neutral. So just see, what were the positive charges? There was only one positive charge, that was H3O plus, and that is equal to the sum of negative charges. Where was the negative charges there? So negative charges was there on OH minus and A minus. So H3O plus is equal to OH minus plus A minus. So we've got four expressions now. Now, in this expression, what does OH minus? OH minus is actually equal to Kw upon H plus from the ionic product of water. So OH minus is equal to Kw upon H plus, and we substitute this into our equation 4. That is the equation for charge balance. So OH minus gets substituted into the expression for charge balance, and you get the value of A minus. So A minus will become equal to H3O plus minus OH minus. So OH minus we substitute as Kw upon H plus. So A minus is equal to H3O plus minus Kw upon H3O plus. Please remember, I am using H plus and H3O plus interchangeably because we know that hydronium ion and proton are one and the same thing. So this is the expression that we are getting, the resultant expression, and this is expression number 5. Now let us recall our third expression, which was that for mass balance. So what was the mass balance expression? That HA naught is equal to HA plus A minus. So HA, the concentration of the undissociated HA or the acid, is equal to total concentration of the acid minus dissociated form. So HA is equal to HA naught minus A minus. Now what is our expression for A minus? A minus is equal to H3O positive minus Kw upon H3O positive. We substitute this expression into this, and we finally get HA is equal to HA naught minus H3O plus Kw upon H3O plus. So this is the expression that we've got. I'm repeating, what have we done? We have written the expression for Ka, Kw, mass balance, charge balance. Using the Kw expression, we get the value of OH minus, which we substitute into the charge balance equation to get the value of A minus. That A minus is being used in the mass balance equation to get the concentration of the HA. Now that we have got the expression for A minus and HA, A minus equal to H3O positive minus Kw upon H3O plus, and HA is equal to HA naught minus H3O positive plus Kw upon H3O plus. We substitute them into the expression for Ka, which is H3O plus into A minus upon HA. So when you substitute these values, you get a cubic equation in H3O plus, which can be solved to give you the exact concentration of H3O plus. And because the concentration of the other species can be expressed in terms of H3O plus, their concentration can also be determined. Now let us apply this treatment to a very strong acid, which is the HCl in this case that we have taken. Now, when you write down the expression, you will follow the same procedure. You will write down the expression for the ionization of HCl and write its Ka value. You will write down an expression for the auto-ionization of water. You will write down the condition of mass balance. You will write down the condition of charge balance. Solve it in the same manner that we have done previously. And then you will finally get this expression which is of Ka. That is H3O plus into H3O plus minus Kw upon H3O plus divided by HCl naught minus H3O plus Kw upon H3O plus. Now let us rearrange this expression to get the value of HCl naught. So if I rearrange this expression to get the value of HCl naught, I get this. HCl naught is equal to H3O plus minus Kw upon H3O plus into 1 plus H3O plus upon Ka. Now this expression, in this expression, because we know that the value of Ka is very large, therefore this expression H3O plus upon Ka can be neglected in comparison to 1. So what are you left with? You are left with H3O plus minus Kw upon H3O plus. I'm repeating, because we know that HCl is a very strong acid and its Ka value is very large, we can ignore this term H3O plus upon Ka in comparison to 1, and we are left with only this term which is H3O plus minus Kw upon H3O plus. Now this expression actually amounts to the fact that HCl is completely dissociated in the solution, and this expression can be used whenever the concentration of the H plus in the solution is less than 10 to the power minus 6 molar. Now what does it also show? It also shows that there are two contributions of H plus in the solution. One you are getting from the dissociation of the acid, and the other you are getting from the dissociation of water. I'm repeating, what does it tell you? That there are two contributions to H plus that you are getting. One contribution is coming from the dissociation of the acid, and the one contribution is coming from the dissociation of the water. There is a direct method which you can apply to derive this equation. Which equation are we talking about? HCl naught is equal to H3O plus minus Kw upon H3O plus. Now let us see the charge balance equation. We would have applied it in the previous derivation also, but a direct method would be simpler. So just see this. H3O plus is equal to OH minus plus Cl minus, right? Now, where is the Cl minus coming from? Because HCl is a very strong acid, all the HCl has converted into Cl minus. So, the initial concentration of HCl is actually equal to the Cl minus. So, Cl minus is actually equal to the HCl naught. And what is OH minus equal to? OH minus is equal to Kw upon H3O plus from the ionic product of water. So, if I substitute them, that Cl minus is equal to HCl naught and OH minus is equal to Kw upon H3O plus into this expression, I will get the same expression as above. That is H3O plus is equal to Kw upon H3O plus HCl naught. And it with the same implication that the H3O plus is getting contribution from two places, from the dissociation of the acid and from the dissociation of the water. Therefore, if the H3O plus of the solution is greater than 10 to the power minus 6 molar, the term Kw upon H3O plus is less than 10 to the power minus 8 molar, and it can be neglected in comparison to H3O plus. So HCl naught, that the initial concentration of HCl is approximately equal to the H3O plus. Please understand that the ionization of water or the dissociation of the water will be suppressed because it's an equilibrium reaction, and if you're putting H plus in the solution, then the backward reaction will be favored in the auto-ionization of the water and the dissociation of the water will be suppressed. Now, if that is suppressed, then all the H plus that you are seeing in the solution is coming from the strong acid. But if the concentration of the solution is less than 10 to the power minus 6 molar, then HCl naught approximately equal to H3O plus will not be applicable, and in that case the expression will be taken as the whole one. HCl naught is equal to H3O plus minus Kw upon H3O plus. That is, in that case the contribution to the H plus is coming from both the dissociation of the strong acid as well as from the autoionization of the water. Now let us take a look at some numericals. Calculate the pH of a solution of 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 molar HCl at 25 degrees centigrade. Now HCl concentration is given as 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 molar, and it's a strong acid, so it will dissociate to give you H plus and Cl minus ion. Also, because we are talking about the aqueous solution, so water will undergo autoionization to give you H plus and OH minus ions. We write down the same expression that we were doing for the mathematical treatment. Kw is equal to H plus into OH minus 1 into 10 to the power minus 14 is equal to H plus into OH minus. Because HCl was a strong acid, so Cl minus is equal to 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 molar, all coming from the HCl. Now let us look at the charge balance equation. H plus is equal to Cl minus plus OH minus, right? Now see, HCl is a very strong acid and its concentration is also quite good. So the solution is going to be acidic in nature. So as a result of that, OH minus concentration, which is very small, can be ignored in comparison to 4 into 10 to the power minus 3. So H plus will become equal to 4 into 10 to the power minus 3. Almost all the H plus is coming from the dissociation of HCl. It must be remembered here that the dissociation of the water is suppressed due to the common ion effect and the Le Chatelier principle, which is favoring the backward direction. So the concentration of the H plus in the water from or in the solution from the water is very less. So H plus is equal to 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 molar. So this will result in a pH of 2.397. If we want to find out the concentration of OH minus, then it will be equal to Kw upon H plus. Just substitute and you will get 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 12 molar. Now, how much is the error in the solution if we have ignored H plus contribution from the water? Now, the amount of OH minus that you are seeing here is actually equal to the amount of H plus which is coming from the water. So the H plus in the water or the H plus in the solution from the water is equal to 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 12. So what is the error? So error is equal to 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 12 divided by 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 into 100. So by ignoring the contribution of H plus from the water, the error that you are seeing in this result is of 6 into 10 to the power minus 8%, which is very small and practically null. So our approximation that the H plus is only coming from the strong acid and not from the water is quite justified. Let us look at another numerical. Here we have to calculate the pH of a solution of 4 into 10 to the power minus 2 molar perchloric acid HClO4 at 25 degrees centigrade. Again the same thing. HClO4 is equal to 4 into 10 to the power minus 2 molar. So the ClO4 minus is also equal to 4 into 10 to the power minus 2 molar. It's a strong acid, so we'll dissociate to give you H plus and ClO4 minus. It's an aqueous solution, so we're going to talk about the autoionization of water. So water giving you H plus and OH minus. We write down the expressions as we had done before. Kw is equal to H plus into OH minus. ClO4 minus is equal to 4 into 10 to the power minus 2 molar. Charge balance equation, H plus is equal to ClO4 minus plus OH minus. Now ClO4 minus we know is equal to 4 into 10 to the power minus 2 molar, and OH minus, because it's a strong acid solution, its value is going to be very small, so it can be neglected in comparison to 4 into 10 to the power minus 2. So all the H plus is equal to therefore 4 into 10 to the power minus 2 molar. So H plus is equal to 4 into 10 to the power minus 2 molar. So OH minus is equal to Kw upon H plus. We substitute and we get 0.25 into 10 to the power minus 2 molar. But our aim was to find out the pH. So because H plus is equal to 4 into 10 to the power minus 2 molar, pH is equal to 1.3917. We already know what is pH. pH is equal to minus log of H plus. Let us again try and see the error that comes in the solution by ignoring H plus from the water. How much is the OH minus? 0.25 into 10 to the power minus 12 molar. Same amount of H plus is coming from the water because water dissociates to give you equal number of H plus and OH minus. So now the H plus which is coming from the water is 0.25 into 10 to the power minus 12 molar. So the error is 0.25 into 10 to the power minus 12 molar divided by 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 into 100. So the error is very less. It is 6.25 into 10 to the power minus 11% error. So our approximation that the all the H plus is coming from the acid and not from the water is very justified. Now let us take a look at a numerical which is slightly different. Till now we have taken cases where the concentration of H plus was more than 10 to the power minus 6 molar. But what happens if it is less than 10 to the power minus 6 molar? So take this case. Calculate the pH of a solution of 1 into 10 to the power minus 8 molar perchloric acid HClO4 at 25 degree centigrade. Again the same thing, HClO4 is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 8 molar. It's a strong acid. It will dissociate to give you H plus and ClO4 minus. You will talk about the dissociation or the autoionization of water. So H plus OH minus coming from water. Again, we will write down the expression of Kw. So Kw is equal to H plus into OH minus. ClO4 minus will be equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 8 molar because it is coming from HClO4, which is a strong acid and completely dissociating to give you ClO4 minus. We write down the expression for charge balance. So H plus is equal to ClO4 minus plus OH minus. Now, what is the concentration of ClO4 minus? 1 into 10 to the power minus 8 molar. Because it is a strong acid. Can you now ignore OH minus? Now here HClO4 is a strong acid. Its concentration is very small. So we will not be able to apply the approximation that 1 into 10 to the power minus 8 molar is less, and so you can ignore the concentration of OH minus. Earlier we were doing this. Why were we able to do it? Because the concentration was more than 10 to the power minus 6 molar and we were able to say that OH minus concentration is quite less and therefore it could be ignored. But here it cannot be ignored. So what do we do? Let us see. Substituting for OH minus, so we get OH minus is equal to Kw upon H plus. Kw is 1 into 10 to the power minus 14 upon H plus. In the expression for H plus, H plus is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 8 molar plus OH minus. Right? This is the expression. This is the expression that we've got from here. Now let us substitute. So H plus is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 8, which is coming from ClO4 minus, plus Kw upon H plus. Kw is 10 to the power minus 14 upon H plus, right? We cross multiply. It becomes a quadratic expression. When you cross multiply, it becomes a quadratic expression in H plus. So H plus square minus 1 into 10 to the power minus 8 molar into H plus minus 1 into 10 to the power minus 14 is equal to 0. Now this expression is similar to or equal to or equivalent to ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, where x can be calculated as minus b plus minus root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Now, so if I want to find out the value of h plus is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 8 plus under root 10 to the power minus 16 minus 4 into 1 into 10 to the power minus 14 divided by 2 into 1. So we get H plus is equal to 1.051 into 10 to the power minus 7 molar. And the pH comes out to be 6.978. So when our concentration of the acid, the strong acid is 10 to the power minus 8 molar, the pH that you are getting is 6.978. Please understand it's a strong acid and it's an acidic solution. Although it is 10 to the power minus 8 molar, the pH is not equal to 8 because it's an acidic solution. So the pH has to be less than 7. It's an acidic solution, so the pH has to be less than 7. So you get the pH less than 7 and it is equal to 6.978. If you were to find out the concentration of OH minus now, so that will be equal to Kw upon H plus and you get 9.514 into 10 to the power minus 8 molar. Let us continue with our derivation for monoprotic acid. This is the expression that we had to obtain for monoprotic acid. Now we are going to apply this expression for weak acids. But before we do that, we need to apply certain approximations to get an expression for weak acid. The first approximation that we will apply is if the H3O plus concentration is greater than 10 to the power minus 6 molar. Now if this is true, that means Kw upon H3O plus will be less than 10 to the power minus 8 molar. Then in this expression, which is H3O plus into H3O plus minus Kw upon H3O plus divided by HCl naught minus H3O plus Kw upon H3O plus, the Kw upon H3O plus can be neglected in comparison to the other expressions. So we are left with only H3O plus in the numerator inside the brackets, and in the denominator we are left with HCl naught minus H3O plus. So the expression that we get for Ka finally is H3O plus square divided by Ha naught minus H3O plus. Now what does this approximation mean? This approximation amounts to the assumption that the hydronium ions which are coming from water are negligible in comparison to the amount which has been contributed by the acid. Now equation 12 that we have derived now can be solved by any of the following methods. We can apply the quadratic equation and solve it to get the value of H3O plus, or you can apply the method of successive approximation, which is actually iterative method. You calculate the H3O value of H3O plus once, then use that value and get another value of H3O plus, and it's an iterative procedure. Now let us apply another approximation to the same expression to get a better formula for the weak acid. Now, in the second approximation, we are assuming that the solution is fairly concentrated and the value of equilibrium constant is small. Now, what does a low value of equilibrium constant mean? That the dissociation is small. That is, most of the acid remains in the undissociated form and very little gets dissociated. So, if we are talking about a weak acid, most of it is present in the undissociated form and very little is present in the dissociated ion form. That means the initial concentration of the acid is very high as compared to H3O plus. Therefore, our expression becomes Ka is equal to H3O plus square divided by Ha naught. Right? We are left with Ka is equal to H3O plus square divided by Ha naught. This can be rearranged to give you the value of H3O plus. So H3O plus comes as under root Ka into Ha naught. So if I want to find out the value of H plus ions in a weak acid, which is highly concentrated, but the Ka value is very small, I can directly use this expression to get the value of H plus ions. You remember this expression from the 11th standard? This is actually the same expression. It's just that we have written it in a little more refined manner. But this is the expression that you were using in the 11th standard while solving the ionic equilibria numericals. Now, let us talk about another term which is called as degree of dissociation. Now, degree of dissociation is the fraction of the ions present in the solution. So, out of the total ions or the total concentration of the acid, what is the fraction of the dissociated form. That is called as the degree of dissociation. So it is represented as alpha is equal to concentration of the dissociated ions divided by C. We are taking here acid. So we've just written A minus upon C. Alpha is equal to A minus upon C. I'm repeating, what is it? It is the fraction of the dissociated ions which are present in the solution, or it is the fraction of the analytical concentration which is present in the form of the anion in the solution. Let us take the example of acetic acid. So HOAC is written for acetic acid. Now this ionizes as H plus ions and acetate ions. If the initial concentration of the acetic acid is C, you already remember this from your equilibria and the ionic equilibria done before, that if C was the initial concentration and alpha is the degree of dissociation, then at equilibrium the concentrations are C1 minus alpha for the undissociated, C alpha for the dissociated ions, right? So if my Ka is equal to H plus into A minus upon Ha, and I substitute the values C alpha into C alpha upon C1 minus alpha, I get C alpha square upon 1 minus alpha, right? You must try and recall what you've done in 11th standard. We are just repeating the same thing. Our initial concentration for the weak acid is C. If alpha is the degree of dissociation, then the concentration at equilibrium will be C1 minus alpha for the undissociated, C alpha for the dissociated ions. So C alpha for H plus, C alpha for acetate ions. So Ka is equal to H plus into A minus upon Ha, product of the concentration of products divided by the concentration of the reactant. Then you substitute these values C alpha into C alpha for H plus and acetate, C into 1 minus alpha for the acetic acid. So you get C alpha square upon 1 minus alpha. Now if it is a weak acid, then the degree of dissociation is going to be very, very less because Ka is also low. So Ka is low, alpha is going to be very, very low. Therefore, you can treat 1 minus alpha in the denominator as 1. You can neglect alpha. Then your expression becomes Ka is equal to C alpha square, and your alpha therefore becomes under root Ka upon C. So what does it imply? This implies that alpha is directly proportional to under root of Ka and inversely proportional to C. So for a weak acid whose Ka value is low, the degree of dissociation is going to be less. That is, less number of ions will be formed in the solution. There is another implication that alpha is inversely proportional to under root of C. What does it mean? So if a weak acid has high concentration, then its degree of dissociation is going to be low. Very less number of ions are going to be formed in solution. But if you were to dilute that weak acid, then the degree of dissociation will increase because the concentration has decreased, and therefore more number of ions will be formed. That is, diluting the solution will result in more number of ions in the solution, so more number of H plus ions for the weak acid. This is also an implication that you had obtained or understood from the Ostwald dilution law. Now, just for recalling, how did we calculate the pH of the weak acid? You have a weak acid, H plus A minus getting formed from Ha. So Ka is equal to H plus into A minus upon Ha. Because the ions are formed in equal amount, so H plus is equal to A minus. So you can just substitute H plus for A minus and you get Ka is equal to H plus square upon Ha. Now, if you were to rearrange it, you will get H plus square is equal to Ha into Ka, and H plus will therefore be equal to under root Ha Ka, which is what we had derived. Therefore, pH can be calculated as equal to minus log of H plus. Let us do some numericals. The first one is, what is the pH of a 0.14 molar aqueous solution of HCN? The pKa is equal to 9.31. Now we are given the value of pK, we can get the value of Ka. Also we know that HCN will ionize as H3O plus and Cn minus. So I can write that Ka is equal to H plus into Cn minus upon HCN. Now let us find out the concentration of various species. Now what are the species? HCN, H plus and Cn minus. If my initial concentration of HCN is 0.14 molar, then the initial concentration of H plus and Cn minus are 0. Now, if I assume that X amount of HCN has undergone dissociation to give you H plus and Cn minus, then H plus and Cn minus are going to be X and X, and the concentration of HCN at equilibrium will be 0.14 minus X. Substitute these into Ka, you get X into X upon 0.14 minus X is equal to 4.9 into 10 to the power minus 10. Now, if you solve this, this becomes a quadratic equation. You solve it for X, you get the value of X as 8.25 into 10 to the power minus 6, right? That means you get H3O plus is equal to 8.25 into 10 to the power minus 6. So this leads us to pH. So pH will be equal to minus log of H3O plus, which will be equal to minus log of H plus, and you get pH is equal to 5.08. Very simple. You could have also done something else. You could have ignored X in the denominator, and then you would have simply got, because our Ka value was anyways very low. So I could have also ignored it. But here we have not ignored. But if you would have ignored it, you would have still got the almost same answer. Now the next numerical is, the pH of a 0.1 molar acetic acid is 2.87. What is the value of the acid dissociation constant Ka? Now pH is equal to what? Minus log of H plus, and this is given as pH. So H plus will become 1.35 into 10 to the power minus 3. Let us write down the equilibrium expression for the weak acid. CH3COH giving you H3O plus and CH3CO minus. Let's write down the expression for Ka, H plus into acetate ion upon acetic acid. What is the next thing that we are supposed to do? Let us calculate the values of different concentrations in the solution. So you have acetic acid, you have H plus ions, you have acetate ions. What is the initial concentration? The initial concentration of the acetic acid is given as 0.1 molar. Initially H plus and acetate will be 0. Let's assume X amount of it has dissociated. You will be left with 0.1 minus X as the equilibrium concentration, X of the H plus and X of the acetate ion, right? Now you just have this value. Now what is the value of X? We have already seen that H plus has been calculated as 1.35 into 10 to the power minus 3. Now whatever is the value of H plus is also the value of the acetate ion. So we just substitute 1.35 into 10 to the power minus 3, 1.35 into 10 to the power minus 3. Now 1.35 into 10 to the power minus 3 is a very small value as compared to 0.1. So we can neglect here X and you are left with 0.1. So you can get the value of Ka. Very simple numericals. You just have to look at them, understand them a little, and just apply whatever you already know. Now, just to understand a little more, for a weak acid with the relatively high K value, that is approximately 10 to the power minus 2. Now, among the weak acid, this is a stronger acid. A 1 molar solution has approximately 10% of the HA molecules which will be dissociated. So, in a 1 molar solution, only 10% will be dissociated. The 90% will remain undissociated. Now, this is for a stronger of the weak acid. Now, let's come to a moderate weak acid. A weak acid which is lesser than the stronger acid but weaker than the weakest of the weak acid. So, a moderately weak acid whose Ka value is approximately 10 to the power minus 5. A 1 molar solution will be 0.3% dissociated. That is, 0.3% of the HA molecules will dissociate to give you the dissociated ions. The rest will remain undissociated. Now let's move to the weakest of the weak acid. That is, you have very, very low Ka value, approximately 10 to the power minus 10. Now in this case, a 1 molar solution will be dissociated only 0.001%, and the rest will remain undissociated. Let us look at another numerical. The pH of a 0.1 molar solution of a weak monoprotic acid, any acid which is HA, is found to be 2.97. What is the value for its ionization constant? Now you're given the value of pH, so you can calculate the value of H plus, which is what, 10 to the power minus pH. So you get 10 to the power minus 2.97. If you solve it, you get 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 3 molar, right? Now again, let us find out the concentration of various species. You have HA, which will ionize to give you H plus and A minus. So your initial concentration is 0.1 molar for HA, 0 and 0 for H plus and A minus. Now how much of the H plus is formed? 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 3. So similar amount will be formed for A minus, 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 3. And how much of HA has vanished? 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 3. So you get the final expression as 0.1 minus 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 3 for HA, 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 3 for H plus, 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 3 for A minus. Now this value is very small. 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 3 is very small as compared to 0.1. So this can be approximated to 0.1. So you just substitute and you get the value of Ka. You have the value of H plus, you have the value of A minus and HA, and you get the value of Ka as 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 5. Another numerical, just to have a strong understanding of how these numericals are solved. You have to calculate the concentrations of the various species in 0.15 molar acetic acid solution, right? So how will acetic acid ionize? It gives you H plus and you get acetate ions. You get the value of Ka. This Ka value we already know is 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 5. Whenever you are given numericals in the exam, you will be given the value of Ka if it is required by you. Now, let us see the concentrations of the species. Acetic acid is 0.15 molar. Initially, H plus and acetate will be 0. If X amount of it disappears, that is acetic acid, it dissociates, you get X amount of H plus and you get X amount of acetate ions. So the leftover amount is 0.15 minus X, which is approximately 0.15, and these are X and X. Now, because you have a Ka value which is 10 to the power minus 5, you can approximate it to get the value of 0.15 minus X as 0.15, or you can solve it quadratically. See, when your value of Ka is 10 to the power minus 5, you have the liberty of choosing whether you want to solve it quadratically or you want to take the approximation. When your value of Ka is more than 10 to the power minus 5, let's say 10 to the power minus 3 minus 2, then you will have to solve it quadratically to get the values of X, right? If your value is lower than 10 to the power minus 5, that is 10 to the power minus 6, 10 to the power minus 7 and so on, then you are at liberty to solve by ignoring the quadratic expression. Please understand, when you solve it quadratically and when you solve it just simply by neglecting the x in the denominator, if the Ka value is 10 to the power minus 5 or less, then the difference between solving exactly using quadratic expression and solving by neglecting the x in the denominator is very little. So you can simply ignore and you have that liberty. Okay, so Ka is equal to x square upon 0.15. So you get Ka is equal to 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 5. So x square is equal to 2.7 into 10 to the power minus 6. So when you take the square root, you get 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 3 molar for x, which is the expression for H plus and acetate. How much is ionization? How much is the percentage of ionization? Very simple. dissociated upon original. What is the dissociated amount? 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 3 upon 0.15, and you get this. See, this is also your alpha. If you don't multiply with 100% and you just take the ratio of the ionized upon original, that is the degree of dissociation. If you multiply by 100, then you get percentage, and if you just take the ratio of the ionized upon the original, you get alpha, right? Okay. Now let us compare the degree of ionization for two weak monoprotic acids like acetic acid and HCl. Both the numericals we have solved, one for HCl and one for acetic acid. In the HCl one, I did solve it quadratically, but I could have simply solved it because the Ka value was 10 to the power minus 10. So I could just simply ignore the quadratic expression, neglect the denominator subtraction to make it just one number, which is the initial concentration, and I could have solved. But I did solve it quadratically just for us to understand that you can do it both ways. Now just see what happens. You have 0.15 molar acetic acid and 0.15 molar HCl. The Kas are given. Acetic acid is 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 5 and Ka for the HCl is 4 into 10 to the power minus 10. You will realize when you solve it that the H plus comes out to be 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 3 and 7.7 into 10 to the power minus 6 for HCl. The pH 2.8 for acetic acid, 5.11 for HCl. Now please understand, they are both same concentration, but because the Ka values are different, the pH has changed. You get more number of H plus ions from acetic acid as compared to HCl. In fact, the pH has almost doubled. That is, you have more H plus ions in the acetic acid and less H plus ions in the HCl. And just see the ionization. Because your Ka values are such 10 to the power minus 5 and 10 to the power minus 10, you see the ionization in the case of acetic acid is 1.1, which I had already stated in those points. And in the case of HCl, whose Ka value is 10 to the power minus 10, your percentage ionization is 0.0051. So for weak acids, the percentage ionization or the degree of ionization is very, very low. If you have a Ka value of 10 to the power minus 5, then you get around 1%. If you have a Ka value of 10 to the power minus 10, then you get the degree of ionization as 0.0051. So what does it tell you? That the H plus ions in 0.15 molar acetic acid is 210 times greater than that for 0.15 molar HCl. Now, so understand that for a weak monoprotic acids, the H plus ions in the solution will depend so much on the Ka value. Let us now talk about polyprotic acids. So, acids which are giving you two or more protons on ionization are called as polyprotic acid. They have multi-stage equilibrias and as many equilibrium constant as the number of hydrogen ions that are formed in the process of ionization. So let's take the example of phosphoric acid, H3PO4. So H3PO4 ionizes to give you H plus and H2PO4 minus. You will have a value of Ka corresponding to this. So Ka1 is equal to 5.9 into 10 to the power minus 3. Then you have H2PO4 minus, which is come from the first step, ionizing to give you H plus HPO4 2 minus, and you will have a corresponding Ka2 value, which is 6.2 into 10 to the power minus 8. Now HPO4 2 minus, which has come from the second step, ionizes in the third step to give you H plus and PO4 3 minus, and you have another Ka3 value, which is 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 3. So for a polyprotic acid, there will be a stepwise dissociation of the H plus ion or the ionization of the H plus ions. And for each step, you will have a Ka value and you can write down their expression. Just see how will you write down the expression. Ka1 is equal to H plus into H2PO4 minus products multiple divided by reactant H3PO4 and you equate it. Ka2 is equal to H plus into HPO4 2 minus upon H2PO4 minus and you get the value, and then Ka3 H plus into PO4 3 minus upon HPO4 2 minus, and you get this value. Now you will see that it is an example of an oxyacid, and you realize that the value of Ka1, I have already talked about this earlier also, that the Ka1 is going to be more than Ka2, which is going to be more than Ka3. Why is that? Because in the first case, the proton is leaving from a neutral molecule. But in the second step, the proton is leaving from a negatively charged species. And in the third step of the phosphoric acid, the proton is leaving from the doubly negatively charged species. So it becomes more and more difficult to remove a proton from a negatively charged species. And therefore, your dissociation constant values decrease. So the first dissociation constant is high, but the second one it becomes difficult to ionize, so the Ka2 value decreases, and the third even becomes more difficult, and so Ka3 value also decrease. So you must realize that there is a lot of difference between the Ka1, Ka2 and Ka3. Just see two other examples, sulfuric acid and H2S. Now, in the case of H2SO4, you have two protons. So the first proton H plus is coming from a neutral molecule, and you have H plus and HSO4 minus. The second step, HSO4 minus also ionizes as H plus and SO4 2 minus. Just see, Ka1, you do not even know. It's very, very large, much more than 1. But Ka2, its value is 1.3 into 10 to the power minus 2. Ka1 is more than 1, and that's why it is a strong acid. But Ka2, the second dissociation, is a slower process, and the value of Ka2 is 10 to the power minus 2. In the case of H2S, H2S ionizes as H plus and HS minus. In the second step, HS minus ionizes to give you H plus and S2 minus. Now just see the values of Ka1 and Ka2. In the case of H2S, which is a weak acid, the first Ka1 is 10 to the power minus 7, whereas the second one is of the order of 10 to the power minus 13. Why? Because, repeating, in the second step, the ionization of the H plus has to take place from a negatively charged species. So it becomes a difficult process. So the second ionization constant is much smaller than the first. In fact, in the case of H2S, it is smaller than by a factor of 10 to the power 5. So as a general rule, in the case of oxyacid, the successive ionization constant of the OH groups attached to the same atom differ by 10 to the power 5. In the case of an acid, if both the protons are attached to the same atom, then the difference can be even more than 10 to the power 5, right? As in the case of H2S, you have Ka1 and Ka2 differing by 10 to the power 5 or 6. H2SE, you have Ka1 and Ka2 differing by 10 to the power 7. For organic acids, it's a much more complicated system. They are complicated molecules. So if proton dominating groups are widely spread, then the successive constants are much closer for, as in the case of adipic acid, you have pKa1 and pK2 very, very close to each other. Next point, the successive ionization constants are much smaller or almost the same value depending the structure of the molecule. So they are really large. You will not find many cases where the second or the third ionization constant values are high. So the calculation of the equilibrium of polyprotic acids will be done in a stepwise manner. You have to consider two ionizations and you will solve them separately. So let us do this for H2S. First we will do it for diprotic acid, and then we will do it for a triprotic acid. Now just see, you have a saturated solution of H2S in water. This saturated solution of H2S in water is 0.1 molar. Now how do we apply the mathematical and the exact treatment to the polyprotic acid? The same way as monoprotic acid, you write down the equilibrias and the expression corresponding to the equilibrias. Then you write down the mass balance equation and the charge balance equation. Let's see how we do it. So you have H2S. H2S ionizes as H plus and HS minus. You have Ka1, which is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 7. Now HS minus ionizes as H plus plus S2 minus, and the value of Ka2 is given as 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 13. Now coming to water. Water ionizes as H plus plus OH minus, and the value of Kw is 1 into 10 to the power minus 14. We write down the expressions corresponding to it. We know that Ka1 is equal to what? H plus into Hs minus upon H2s, and Ka2 is equal to H plus into S2 minus upon Hs minus. So we just rearrange these expressions and we get Ka1 into H2s is equal to H plus into Hs minus. Ka2 into Hs minus is equal to H plus into S2 minus, and the ionic product of water we already know that Kw is equal to H plus into OH minus. Then we write down the expression for the mass balance. So what is the mass balance? That all the species containing sulfur will be equal to the initial concentration of the species which was containing it, sulfur. So which is the initial species? That is H2S. So that was taken as 0.1 molar. So all the species after attaining the equilibrium should be equal to 0.1. So Hs minus plus H2S plus S2 minus is equal to 0.1. Now let us see the charge balance. What is charge balance? Sum of positive charges is equal to the sum of negative charges. So H plus is equal to OH minus plus Hs minus plus 2 into S2 minus. Now let us apply approximation to these equations to solve them simply. The first approximation is, because it is a saturated solution of H2S in water, it is going to be acidic. And if it is acidic, then the concentration of OH minus is going to be negligible, right? Therefore, in the expression for the charge balance, we can ignore OH minus and our expression becomes H plus is equal to Hs minus plus 2 into S2 minus, right? Now coming to the second approximation. Your Ka2 value is very small. That is, the dissociation constant for the second equilibria is very small. So the concentration of S2 minus is going to be very small and can be neglected. Therefore, you have H plus is equal to Hs minus from here, and from the mass balance you have H2S plus Hs minus equal to 0.1. The third approximation that we are applying is that Ka1 is also small because it's a weak acid, hence Hs minus is negligible as compared to H2S. So we had Ka2 small, we have Ka1 small, and therefore we are ignoring some of the terms. So we have ignored Hs minus in this expression and we get H2S is equal to 0.1 molar. Now let us see how do we solve it. Now what is the expression for Ka1? Ka1 into H2S is equal to H plus into Hs minus. We have already proved that H plus is equal to Hs minus, right? We have also proved, according to our approximation, that H2S is equal to 0.1 molar. We know the value of Ka1. We just put them in this expression. So we have 1 into 10 to the power minus 7 into 0.1 is equal to H plus square. So you can solve it, take the under root and get the value of H plus, and you get 10 to the power minus 4 molar. Therefore, the pH which comes out is 4, right? I am repeating, why has it come out? Because H plus was equal to Hs minus, and Hs minus we have got as 1 into 10 to the power minus 4, right? Now coming to the other species, if I multiply Ka1 with Ka2, I get this expression, H plus square into S2 minus upon 0.1. I know the values of Ka1 and Ka2. I know the value of H plus. I know the value of H2S, so I've got 0.1 here, and I can get the value of S2 minus. So when I get that, I can get the value of S2 minus as 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 13 molar. So I've got the concentration of H2S, I've got the concentration of Hs, I've got the concentration of Hs minus, and now I've also got the concentration of S2 minus. But there is one species that we have ignored initially, but let's find out its concentration, that is OH minus. Although it is very less, its concentration is still going to be there. Now what is the concentration of H plus? It is 10 to the power minus 4, right? So if H plus is equal to 10 to the power minus 4, so OH minus will be equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 14, which is Kw, divided by H plus, which is 1 into 10 to the power minus 4. So you get OH minus is equal to 10 to the power minus 20, right? So what is the important thing? That by assuming Ka1 and Ka2 to be very small, we have said that the main provider of H plus is the primary ionization of H2S. Now, let us justify our approximation. We have seen that OH minus is 10 to the power minus 10, so it is very less than H plus. So our approximation was correct, that because the solution is acidic, OH minus can be neglected. Now, another approximation that we had done was that S2 minus was very less. Why? Because Ka2 was very, very small, which is also true. We found out the concentration of S2 minus is very, very less than H plus. Also, we found that Hs minus is negligible as compared to H2S. Again, that was the approximation that we had taken. So whatever approximations we had taken, they actually came out to be true when we calculated the concentration of the various species. Now let us put these concentration terms in the mass balance equation. So you have Hs minus, you have H2S, and you have S2 minus. So Hs minus is 1 into 10 to the power minus 4. H2S is 0.1 molar. You have S2 minus 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 13. Now all these three will come out to be 0.1 when you sum them. Why? Because the 10 to the power minus 4 is negligible as compared to 0.1, and 10 to the power minus 13 is even more less. So when you sum H2S plus Hs minus plus S2 minus, you get equal to 1. So these terms, these small terms, 10 to the power minus 4 and 10 to the power minus 13, were correctly ignored in the solution of these polyprotic acid. Now, if there was to be an error, what will be the error there? It will be of the order of 10 to the power minus 4. 10 to the power minus 13 is going to be totally negligible. So 10 to the power minus 4 also, how much does it come out to be if there was an error? So 1 into 10 to the power minus 4 upon 0.1 into 100. It's a 0.1% error. It's also an error which can be very easily ignored. Let us now try and calculate the concentration of various species in a 0.1 molar solution of triprotic acid. Here in this case we have taken phosphoric acid, H3PO4. Now H3PO4 ionizes as H plus H2PO4 minus, Ka1 is 5.9 into 10 to the power minus 3. H2PO4 minus from the first step ionizes as H plus HPO4 2 minus in the second step. Ka2 is 6.2 into 10 to the power minus 8. HPO4 2 minus, which has been obtained from the second step, ionizes as H plus PO4 3 minus in the third step. Ka3 is 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 13. Water undergoes autoionization and you have H plus OH minus. So Kw is given 1 into 10 to the power minus 14 at 25 degree centigrade. Okay, and all these values are at 25 degrees centigrade. Now what do? In the mathematical treatment, we write down the expressions for Ka1, Ka2, Ka3 and Kws. So let's do this. 5.9 into 10 to the power minus 3 is the Ka1, and that is equal to H plus into H2PO4 minus upon H3PO4. We have rearranged and we've got 5.9 into 10 to the power minus 3 H3PO4 is equal to H plus into H2PO4 minus. In the second step, you have Ka2. So we just rearrange and we write 6.2 into 10 to the power minus 8 H2PO4 minus is equal to H plus into HPO4 2 minus. From the third step, we write 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 13 into HPO4 2 minus is equal to H plus into PO4 3 minus. And in the fourth step, that is the Kw that we have taken, because it's an aqueous solution, 1 into 10 to the power minus 14 is equal to H plus into OH minus. So we've got these expression from the equilibrium constants or the dissociation constants. Now let's apply the mass balance. So what is the mass balance? The sum of all the species containing phosphorus should be equal to the initial concentration of the phosphoric acid that we have taken. So H3PO4, which is unionized, plus the ionized species H2PO4 minus plus HPO42 minus plus PO43 minus should be equal to the 0.1 molar, which is the concentration which is taken initially. Now, charge balance. What is charge balance? Sum of positive charges is equal to sum of negative charges. H plus is equal to OH minus plus H2PO4 minus plus 2 into HPO4 2 minus plus 3 into PO4 3 minus, right? We are multiplying by 2 and 3 because the contribution is double there, then because they have a negative charge of 2 and negative charge of 3. Okay, the first approximation is that the solution is acidic. So if the solution is acidic, then the OH minus concentration is going to be negligible as compared to the H plus, and it can be ignored in the charge balance. So you have an expression which is left is H plus is equal to H2PO4 minus plus 2 into HPO4 2 minus plus 3 into PO4 3 minus. Very simple. Now what is the next step? You know that the values of Ka2 and Ka3 are very small. So if they are very small, then the concentrations of HPO4 2 minus and PO4 3 minus can be ignored. They are negligible as compared to H2PO4 minus. So if that is true, you are left with the expression H plus is equal to H2PO4 minus, right? So we've got one major conclusion, that our proton is equal to the H2PO4 minus. Now if I put this in the expression of mass balance, then H3PO4 plus H2PO4 minus is equal to 0.1 molar. Okay, so we've got these expressions now. Now let's use them. So we know that H plus is equal to H2PO4 minus. We apply that to the Ka1 equation. So Ka1 into H3PO4 is equal to H plus into H2PO4 minus. We put the expressions. Ka1 5.9 into 10 to the power minus 3 into H3PO4 is equal to H positive square, because H2PO4 minus and H plus were equal. So you get 5.9 into 10 to the power minus 3 is equal to H positive square upon 0.1 minus H plus. We solve it quadratically. This is a quadratic expression. We solve it quadratically and we get H plus is equal to 2.15 into 10 to the power minus 2 molar, leading to a pH of 1.667. How do we get a pH? Minus log of H plus. Yeah. Now we have to calculate the species, other species concentration. So what are the other species? We have already said that we've got H plus, we have got H2PO4 minus because it was equal to H plus. Now let's talk about H3PO4, HPO4 2 minus and PO4 3 minus. So one of the expression that we derived in the previous slide was that H3PO4 and H2PO4 minus is equal to 0.1 molar. So H3PO4 therefore will become equal to 0.1 minus H2PO4 minus. So you get the concentration of H3PO4. Okay. Now what is the expression for OH minus? Kw upon H plus. You just substitute and you get the concentration of OH minus. Now for the HPO4 2 minus, you use the expression from the Ka2, substitute the concentration terms and you get HPO4 2 minus, right, which comes out to be 6.2 into 10 to the power minus 8 molar. Now coming to the expression for PO4 3 minus, again you use the third equilibrium expression, use the Ka3, use the term for HPO4 2 minus, use the term for H plus, and you get this value, which is 1.38 into 10 to the power minus 18 molar. So what does it actually mean, and what does it say about our approximation? Was it correct that we assumed these things? So yes, approximation 1 and 2 both are justified because these concentration terms were really low. And if you want to calculate the error in the exact mass balance, you should see that you have 6.2 into 10 to the power minus 8 as the concentration of HPO4 2 minus. So just find out 6.2 into 10 to the power minus 8 divided by 0.1 into 100 gives you an error of 6.2 into 10 to the power minus 5%, which is a very low error. So even if you have assumed these to be negligible, you are very, very close to the answer. If you had solved them exactly, then also you would have got similar answers. So it's better to ignore and make our calculations easier. So just to summarize, how do we solve problems? We write down the balanced equations and the equilibrias and the Kas. We define X, which is the unknown concentration and which is changing during the course of the reaction. We construct a reaction table and show the changes, initial changes and equilibrium concentration. Then we make certain assumptions to simplify our calculations. Then we substitute these into our Kas and solve for X. A major assumption that we make during the course of solution is that if our Ka is small, then you can ignore X in the denominator. If Ka is moderate, that is 10 to the power minus 5 or less, then you can ignore 10 to the power minus 5 and more, then you have to consider it and solve it quadratically. That's how you solve all your problems for weak acids, also for diprotic, triprotic acids. So with this, today we are winding up our lecture. Just to summarize what we have done today, we have taken a look at how mathematical treatment is done. How do we apply it to monoprotic acids? We have solved it for strong acid as well as for weak acid. We have applied it to polyprotic acid. In our case, we have taken the example of H2S and H3PO4 and see how an exact treatment can be applied to diprotic and triprotic. Then we have solved numericals based on weak acid, strong acid, diprotic and triprotic. So with this we wind up. Thank you so much. Stay at home, stay safe. Please take care of everyone close to you. Thank you.